Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. We're into the tough questions like, how do you grill a picanha steak so it's tender, juicy, and delicious? And what does a tired dragon order at a restaurant? That second one's easy. Flaming yawn. This video is brought to you by the fine folks at Kamado Joe. Thanks, Kamado Joe. If you follow the channel, you might know that I have been out and about grilling live at Wild Forks all over Central Florida. And one question I constantly get asked is, how did you grill that steak? That steak being picanha. And today I'm gonna let you know all my tips, tricks, and secrets. They're not that secret, and they're pretty easy. Let's get into it. First things first, get good meat. This is a prime grade picanha steak from Wild Fork. It comes vac packed frozen, which I have now defrosted. My first tip is to dry it off. For me, one of the best parts of a steak is the crust. It needs to be golden, it needs to be browned, it needs to be delicious. That Maillard reaction needs to happen. And for that to happen, you don't want water. Moisture in the form of water is the enemy. The more time and heat you expend attempting to get rid of that moisture, it's just steaming the meat and it's not allowing the temperatures to hit that's gonna create a crust. So, dry off your protein. Now we need to determine the best way to cook the steak based on its attributes. These are not very thick. They're maybe 3/4 of an inch at the most, maybe an inch if you're being lucky. So this isn't a big, thick, huge steak where I would normally use the reverse sear method. I'd cook it really low, bring it up to temp, and then put my crust on it. For this steak, I go with a standard 2-zone grill setup. Hot side, cold side. I grill it on the hot side till it gets a really nice crust. I check my temp, see where I'm at. If it still needs a little bit more, I will move it to the cold side till it comes up to temp. And because I'm using this method, I'm gonna let this meat sit out about 30 minutes to come up to room temp. That's gonna make it a lot easier for me to hit my crust and get everything done without having a raw center. This next tip is probably the biggest thing that is gonna make a huge difference in your steaks if you do it. We're gonna dry brine these steaks. Sounds really complicated. All it is we're gonna salt them ahead of time and let them sit. I've got Diamond Crystal Kosher salt in here. Now it may look like, wow, you're using a lot of salt. That's gonna be really salty. Most people criminally undersalt their food and it doesn't taste as good. You really need to use a decent amount of salt to make your food taste good. So we're just gonna hit one side. And I could even go heavier on these, but I don't feel the need. And then we're gonna hit it up. And that's it. We're gonna let this sit with the salt on it out at room temperature for about 30 minutes. That is gonna let the salt penetrate into the meat. It's gonna absorb. You'll know you're pretty much ready to go when you don't see any more salt crystals on the exterior. Now, if you really wanna amp it up, take this, put it in a fridge overnight, uncovered, and let it dry brine overnight. Then take it out and let it come up to room temp. That will really enhance the flavor of your steak. But for today, I'm just gonna go ahead and sit these out for 30 minutes. Let's go set up a grill. Today, I'm gonna grill on my Big Joe Classic 3 charcoal grill. I'll show you how I set it up.
I'm filling half the grill with charcoal. I've got a little divider on there to keep it to one side. And then I'm just lighting that up with my torch. Takes about a minute, so this is sped up. But once they're white and glowing like that, you are ready. Slap your grill grates on there and close it off.
And as far as temps go, hot. You want it as hot as your grill goes, basically. So I've got this vent all the way open on the top and all the way open on the bottom. We're gonna let this heat soak come up to temp for like 15, 20 minutes. Now you might be sitting there going, I don't have a gigantic charcoal grill. I can't do this. No, this works on any grill. If you have a gas grill, turn on half the burners on high, half the burners on low. Now, if you have a pellet grill where there are no burners or sides, the lower section would be the hot side. The upper rack, if you hopefully have one, would be the cold side. If you don't have that available to you, just take the steak off once it gets its nice crust and lower the temp all the way on your grill while the steak is off to the side resting, and then you can cook it a little bit more if need be. But with as thin as these are, I don't think you'll even get to that point. It is literally going to be hot side, crust, rest. One thing people do not count on is carryover cooking, and carryover cooking can be dramatic if you are cooking with really high heat. You can get really large, wild temperature swings while you are letting your food rest. 5 to even 10 degrees sometimes if you're cooking super high heat. On a steak like this picanha, I would expect something in the 5-degree range. So if we are shooting for like a 134 perfect medium rare, then you're gonna wanna pull it off around at least 125, 128-ish, and then just let it rest and come up the rest of the way. Another question you might be asking is, well, how do you even know what temp it is? Get one of these. It is an instant read thermometer. You open it up, stick it in your food, and it will instantly, within 1 or 2 seconds, tell you the temperature of the food. This is the only way to know what your food is doing and if it's cooked. You can do the whole little, okay, that's medium rare. Back here, that's more medium. And back up near here, if you push it, that's well done. And that is a good little gauge, but it's not perfect. The best way to do it is with a thermometer. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. If you know the quote, let me know in the comments. At this point, our steaks have been resting for about 30 minutes, and they look completely different. As you can see, there are no more salt granules left on these steaks. They're gone. Now they do look a little wet. This is where putting these in the fridge overnight really would come in handy. All that moisture would get reabsorbed back in the steak, making the steak juicier and better seasoned. If you have the time, go ahead and do that. If not, it's okay. Just kind of let them go as long as you can. I think our grill should be just about ready to cook. This has been heating up for quite a while. It's ready to grill a steak.
You want to start the steaks off on the hot side, over the hottest part of the grill that you got. I noticed that I wasn't really getting enough sizzle off these, and I probably should have just moved my grill grate down lower so the steaks were even closer to those coals. That's what I did. Quickly popped all the steaks off there, grabbed some high heat gloves, and just moved them down a notch so they're right next to the coals. Now that they're closer to the coals, we got that nice sizzle, and we're just going to cook these for about a minute on this side. We're going to give them a flip, and we're flipping these pretty constantly. We don't want them to be on one side too long because that's when you're going to get a flare up and you're going to get some burning. So flipping constantly is really good with picanha. We're going to flip these over, and then we're going to let them go for another minute on the opposite side. It's only been 2 minutes cooking, and we're starting to get a little bit of grill marks on these and a little bit of color on the fat. But now comes the fun part with picanha. We are going to sear the fat. Nothing tastes worse than unrendered fat. So we're going to stack 2 steaks on top of each other, pinch them between your tongs, and then put them right down over the flames, fat side down. You kind of bounce them off the grill grate a little bit. It's going to cause some flare-ups, which is also going to cause the juices to hit the coals, and it perfumes the meat with a charcoal flavor. It's amazing. Now, I'm pushing against it. I'm banging it against the thing every once in a while. I really want to get a nice sear on this fat. This is what's going to make this steak taste amazing. Just go ahead and repeat that process with all of your steaks.
Because these are thin, I want to be careful. See, these are almost done. These guys are only at about 100 because they're thicker, so they can take a little bit more heat.
Here's another secret. I spray them with a little bit of beef tallow. Watch out, it flames up. But watch the difference in the color when I flip this steak over with just that little bit of beef tallow that had hit the coals and flamed up onto it. What a beautiful golden brown. That is how you're going to finish these off really quick. This will work on a gas grill, any grill. A little bit of beef tallow on there makes a world of difference.
And that's what you're going for. Beautiful golden brown crust. Still can come up a little bit in temp. It's about 115 right now.
From here, all you need to do is finish off your steaks. You can just bounce them like that. You can spray them with some tallow. Just flip them. You're looking for that beautiful crust and watching your temps. Once everybody's got a nice color and the temps look right, you are done. In total, it took about 10 minutes of active grilling on the main part of the steaks, and on the sides, it was about 2 to 3 minutes. With that, these steaks came out perfect. Now, these ended up coming off at kind of different temps. This one's probably closer to the rare, medium rare, medium rare. These might be medium because of how thin they were. By the time I got a decent crust, they were really already there. We're gonna let these rest for at least 10 minutes, but let me see right now. Like 131, 132 right there at the coolest part, 129, 128. So I might have gotten them all. We're gonna let these rest for at least 5, more like 10 minutes. It has been roughly 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and cut into these and see how they look. We'll go smallest to largest.
All right, let's just go ahead and cut this guy right down the middle. And she's gonna blush a little. Cut this guy down the middle. As the air hits these, they're gonna blush and redden up a little bit. For me, that is the perfect medium rare steak. Nice and pink, minimal gray band. That looks fantastic. That's about perfect. Now, if you move on to the thinnest steak, you'll see a slight difference. We've got a little bit more gray band, but we still have a nice pink center. Nothing left but to go ahead and cut one across the grain, so that way it just pulls apart. Juicy, tender. A delicious steak. Happy dad. Happy dad. If you feel like it needs it, you can always hit it with a sprinkle of salt. Believe it or not, even with all that salt I put on in the beginning, it was still a little undersalted. So hit it with a little at the end. That is a perfect bite of steak. This is my secret weapon. I love this stuff. It adds a beefy flavor. It stops them from sticking, gives a little bit of flare up, which will help get you a quicker crust. I actually love this stuff. I'll throw a link down in the description. I hope this video helps you grill up some amazing picanha steaks. And if you want me to tackle something else, let me know in the comments. Speaking of comments, please do the YouTube likey subscribe thing. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. If you really want to support this channel, consider becoming a member. Members get 24-hour early access to videos, behind the scenes, shout outs, producer credits, all kinds of fun stuff. But if you can't, please, subscribing would be enough. And with all that out of the way, I guess there's only one question left to answer. What's Gru's favorite steak? Filet mignon. Yeah, pretty terrible. Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, cook up some amazing picanha steaks, but one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This is the part where I thank all of my members. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for your support, and rock on. I don't know why I said rock on, but rock on.